Is it happening? I think it's happening. Okay. Whew. Hi, folks. Welcome to this Tuesday's live stream Instagram artist chat. It's good to see you again. Oh, hello. So fantastic to be here today. As some of you may know, in the lead up to the holidays, we are doing our very best to check in and spotlight artists who are making things and selling things in their community. Perhaps grassroots artists, artists working with small batch or small batch manufacturing, or really kind of grassroots DIY. And we're looking to give those artists a lift and shine a light on what they do and help perhaps help people with their holiday shopping. You never know where you might find that lovely little unique thing. And of course, during this time, this would also be the time of year where the Living Room would normally be hosting its Handmade with Heart sale. And because we can't do that, this is just another great opportunity to celebrate all the makers that we know and love, and maybe introduce ourselves to some makers that we don't know, but we love. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce everyone to someone you may already know, you're probably already familiar with because they were a coordinator at the studio. Their name is Kaitlyn Kakish, and I'm going to invite them on right now and have them join us on this live stream chat. We're connecting, that's my connect.
Hi.
I'm
kind of like, the light is washing me out a little, but that's okay.
You look glowing.
Oh, thank you.
So I gave a super brief introduction to folks you might have heard. There are people out there who know you probably from the different things you do in community. They might know you from being a coordinator at the studio. They might know you from being a social service worker. But why don't I let you introduce yourself in all
Sure, yeah. You touched on a lot of things that I guess I was gonna touch on. I find like introducing myself is so awkward because I'm like, who am I? But yeah, I was a coordinator at the studio for a little while. I'm pursuing a career in social service work, like you were saying, in the mental health field. And I make art on the side. So yeah, it started off as a hobby, and now I'm just kind of like putting myself out there. But yeah, it's just something I enjoy. I call my art for the soul. So it's something that I just enjoy making stuff.
Art for the soul. Oh, you know I love that.
Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it, I guess.
Well, I think that's something really special too for makers who are perhaps, that's the wrong thing to say at the beginning of their careers, because I think we make and sell things for different reasons. But especially for folks, for like, something changes when your art becomes something you do full time, whatever that art may be. And speaking for myself and the things that I love to do, like acting, for example, it doesn't, well, this is, what am I trying to say? I guess it takes it in a different direction. It suddenly becomes, I had to work really hard to bring back the joy into it after I pushed into the industry side of it.
For sure.
When I look at makers like yourself, you're spinning several plates. I love to hear that you're making art because it makes your soul feel good. Unless I did that wrong. What does making like art for the soul mean?
So I don't know, like it can mean a few different things, I guess, but when it started, it was just something to do to make me feel good, just to kind of like organize my thoughts, I guess, and make my brain quiet. I guess that's what it was. But after that, it became like, just my style is more like expressionist style. So it was a lot of like expressing my emotions, or a lot of like my paintings are based in nature. So I kind of like, I love nature. So my paintings are kind of like how it makes me feel. So I kind of paint in a style of how like I can feel it in my soul. I don't know how to explain it, but like I guess I just paint from my soul, I guess. But everything comes from emotions for the most part for me.
And self-taught as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I did take, I think, like a course or two in high school, but since then, yeah, it's just been me trying to figure stuff out. I guess the studio was a good space too, because there's lots of people with different skills. So it was nice. You learn from the community also.
Yeah. I really, personally, I enjoyed seeing you explore and grow every single day you created art. While you're like like, yeah, it was, I love, that's one of my favorite things about the studio for everyone. But
I agree.
I think uh, seeing you take your creativity on this kind of journey where you're at a stage where you're like, I'm not only happy making it, but I also want to sell it. And I want
Yeah.
to share it to people. What has that been like for you?
So like you were saying, I like you said, I spin a lot of different plates. So like my art isn't like my life when it comes to selling stuff, but I'm very like low key about it. Like I usually will do like the occasional like marketplace kind of thing. So I'm really trying to post more online because I find like when I'm in a stage where I'm busy with other things, I'm not necessarily making stuff, I'm not posting as much. I find I like to post, like I find when there's a work in progress, I post literally everything. Like I, along the way on my stories, I always post like the work in progress, but the times where I aren't like I'm not making stuff as much, I'm not posting. So I feel like that's been tough just because I'm like, again, it's not my life.
Mhm.
So, but lately I have been just trying to post a little bit more. I did that yesterday, but I do have like a ton of stuff just sitting in my house. So yeah, it's weird because I'm not like I'm not posting all the time when I just have stuff sitting here. Like I like to more share stuff that I make. So it's weird because it's again, it's not like my life. It's not like a business that I've put my life into.
Yeah. Or not yet.
Yeah, so maybe I have been thinking about it, especially like with COVID going on, my life is
Mhm.
a little bit more low key. Like I'm not like busy, busy, busy. So it is something that I'm like looking into a little bit more.
How are you doing? And how has, I mean, and feel free to talk about various aspects of your life, but um, how has the pandemic shifted things for you?
It's slowed things down for me. So I
Mhm.
just finished my certificate in addictions and mental health in
Woo-hoo.
August. Yeah, I love that program. It was so good. Um, so I just finished that, and I think like pre-COVID, I obviously had a plan of like finishing, um, getting like an actual like placement experience, whereas because of COVID, it was more like a virtual experience. So unfortunately, I didn't get that. But my plan was finish, go, and like get into the field right away. Like I want to work. I miss the community. So that's been tough because I haven't been able to.
Mm.
So it's a lot of like feeling crappy and being like, you should be working. But then the other part of me is like, we're literally in a pandemic, slow down. It's okay. So it's just things have slowed down. So it's a lot of like me focusing on myself, which
Mm.
honestly, like I'm kind of grateful that it slowed down because there's so many things that I'm doing now that I wasn't able to find the time to do before. So there's pros and cons to it.
Like, some, what are some of the things that you've introduced to your life or reintroduced?
Yeah, so a lot of it, especially lately, is journaling and meditating. So beforehand, with being like a student and also working, I was so busy. Like I had no time at night. Yeah, I was just so busy. So now I find I have more time. Like I've been taking myself out for walks or like taking my journal to the beach and like kind of finding that quiet time. So that's been really nice. And I find it like just helps my general mood. So those are things that are like reoccurring now that I've been able to do.
Yeah, it's really forced me to reconcile the fact that I don't often practice what I preach.
Same.
Uh,
It's tough.
but I think now having opportunities to reintroduce certain things into my life, uh, I'm hoping that as things continue, I'll be able to keep these things. I don't know if I want to go back to the way things were entirely. So,
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah, especially with wellness and those things that help me be creative. Because when I'm busy, uh, yeah, like, well, you worked with me in the studio. How often did you see me make art when we were in the
Oh gosh, no, I don't think ever.
Yeah.
Maybe during a workshop, but it was like 5 minutes, and then you have to put it down. Unfortunately, it's so busy. Life is chaotic sometimes. A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited by that. I'm excited by the possibility that we'll come out of this period of difficult period with some really exciting realizations about ourselves, if nothing else.
for sure. There's been a lot of like self-discovery for me. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm appreciating the extra time.
And with those self-discovery pieces, how, like, have you found ways for them to feed into various parts of your life, or is it in one area?
I think it can go on like through various parts of my life. I think like I've been taking a lot of time, like I've been spending a lot of time with myself, which has been really nice. So there's been a lot of like checking in with myself, and like something I'm doing a lot now is like checking in with like my emotions. So I that's something that I guess when you're busy, 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 like you don't really have much time for that. You like, for example, you might feel like anxious, but you might not really like, you're like, I have to do this, so I can't think about that. Whereas now, like, especially when I'm taking myself out for walks, like, there's lots of time for reflection. So I can be like, okay, well, actually, this thing really bothers me. Like, how can I address this? Otherwise, it's like that thing really bothers me, but I'm busy with 300 other things that I can't deal with it. And it's just easier to ignore it. So now it's like a lot of space where I'm like, oh, okay, like this actually does bother me, or like, okay, I do deserve to be treated differently, like stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
a lot of things come up where I'm like finding my voice also. So it does like fit into other things, or like finding different interests that I didn't know I had before.
Yeah. It's funny that when things are busy, it's just like, I have this feeling, I don't like this feeling, but you just keep pushing through.
Yeah, because you're like, it's easier to just like ignore it and just keep moving forward. So yeah.
And now there's
Like I can't deal with anything else coming up.
well, now there's time to say, I have this feeling, I don't like this feeling. Wait, what is this feeling?
Yeah, it's like a lot of exploring for sure.
Yeah.
You really like, I've really taken the time to be like, okay, what is this telling me? Or like, what can I do about this? What don't I like? Stuff like that. There's a lot of like exploring myself that I've at least feel lucky that I can take that from the situation that's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky in that sense.
And so I want to take this back to the art and the creativity, like the creative piece. Have you noticed, like you're saying that you use art to process things, explore things, reflect on things? Is that part of what you were saying earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find the kinds of things that you make? Because I know you paint, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some beautiful, uh, but you also do other things. You make jewelry. So do
Yeah.
that and you also embroider. I didn't have a chance to post, but I will share it.
Oh, oh yeah, that's a recent thing. I've been like, I haven't done much with that, but I really loved it.
Okay, tell us all about that, and I'll ask questions along the way.
Yeah, so my art did start off with a lot of painting, just because I guess that was just, I liked getting messy, and like I just loved it. I still love it, but I find it's a lot of like work nowadays to pull everything out, and like by the time you pull everything out, you're like, do I really want to get into this mess? So like I think that's where other like kinds of art came into play. Like it started off with like the more visual stuff like painting or like using ink and drawing, but then it kind of stemmed into using watercolor a lot, which is weird because I hated watercolor because I was just like, I don't know how to use this. And I just liked how acrylic, you can be messy and like move things. It's very easy to like fix things. But Christine actually from the studio inspired me to start watercolor. So I was like, I experimented with it and I loved that for a while. Yeah. So I did that for a bit. I do like that. When I feel like painting, I pull that out because I feel like it's not as messy. You just take the little palette and go.
Yeah.
But the jewelry part of it was like, I am very spiritual, so I love crystals. I collect them. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to try and wrap one. And like, I just think it's cool that you can like make practical art where you can like actually wear it. Like paintings are great. You can look at them on a wall, but like, I just think it's so cool to wrap something and like, you kind of, I don't know, you just spent time with it. That's how I felt the first time I wrapped one.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my art is going, to like practical things that you can use. So like making the jewelry, like, is just something that I can always have on me. And it's kind of cool to make something that you can use. And then embroidery, I don't know why. I thought it looked really pretty when I saw it online. So I was like, I'm going to try it. So I experimented with that a little bit. And then I made a shirt, which also I was like, that's very cool. Like I can wear something that I created. So that's where that stemmed from.
Do you happen to have one of those near you for like show right now? Do you have?
I don't. I should have. I knew I should have brought it up.
No, it's okay. I'll post a picture.
Yeah.
The thing I love about it is the simplicity, and as such a tiny, it's like a lovely accent to the piece. I love that. I love that kind of embellishment where you're not sure it's there, and then you have to take a second look, and you're surprised.
Yeah.
Something quite elegant and profound.
Yeah.
That's been added in. It's really lovely.
Yeah, I loved the embroidery, and it's kind of nice because like at night, especially, like I think I started doing it in March or April, so like when everything first was like shut and it was very like hard for everyone, but
Yeah.
that was really nice because it gave me a space at night. I was by myself and I listened to music, and it was just nice to be able to, it's mindless stuff also. So that was really nice.
I know that sometimes when things are stressful or I'm feeling like everything is beyond my control, which I mean, everything is, except for myself, some of,
Yeah.
uh, I find myself going to things like fiber arts and sewing, like working with textiles for some reason.
Yeah.
Similar thing.
Um, like I've made pencil cases, or like I just call them pouches because you can use them for literally
Love
everything. I
it.
have some here too.
I
I brought those at least. Yeah.
love
Um,
yeah.
I love them because like I put funky linings in them.
Ooh, yeah.
So I thought that was fun. But sometimes like sewing can get frustrating. So I really have to be in the mood for it. Otherwise, because there's a lot of like you have to cut the pieces properly, and like so it's tough sometimes, but I do love making, again, it's like something practical that you can use. I have like a million of these for myself. But yeah.
The lighting, that's one of the things I love, like this one. And I love because also they're really affordable. So I bought a whole bunch off of you that I use to organize all my little bits and pieces.
Hmm.
One I think has, oh yeah, it has like some brads it and everything. But the other thing I love, which maybe is, I wonder if I can show this.
The Teletubby lining. Yeah, I thought it was funny to put
I
like
love,
funny lines in there.
it's like a little surprise. It's so simple, elegant on the outside, but you open it up and it's something.
Oh yeah, I have this one here has crabs inside. I don't know if you can see. I love that fabric too.
I think like that bring me great joy. Just little details.
Yeah, I thought it was just a fun little twist.
Well,
You
that
like don't expect it. So
I think that's what I love about things that are made by humans rather than corporations, and it's not a bad thing, right? Mass market,
yeah.
all of that has to happen in the world we live in, but
Hmm.
that with every handmade piece I buy from an artist or something that they've created, their personality is in it.
Yep. That's what I love about it too.
Yeah, I love that there's a piece of you in my life right now that
Oh.
it's a beautiful thing. I feel that way about every person, like every artist that I've purchased things from. Um, and we're getting a lot of good feedback. Yeah, that's lovely. Like,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
uh,
I love that too as an artist. Like when someone buys something for me, like it just makes me so happy. Like something that I spent time with and like kind of put my heart into, like someone also is appreciating that. So
yeah.
that's something that I love as an artist also.
What do you think? Have you, like, I know Canadians, and so there might be people watching from different countries, and I'm not sure what it's like where you live, or maybe even different cities or provinces, but I find that folks, at least let's say in Oshawa or Ontario, we're pretty reserved with the love we throw at people. Um, and I've always wondered about that, why we don't share more frequently how much we love something that an artist does.
Hmm.
Um, do you find that people are, have you found that as well? I guess I'll just put that out there.
I don't know if I found that. I find like a lot of my friends, especially like who support my art and always they're very nice. They're always like buying stuff from me and like using it. So that I don't find them as reserved, especially like my friends who are in my close circle, very supportive and like always giving me love. So I appreciate that. I don't know if I can agree because I like
Hmm.
even like in like downtown or like in the living room space, like I don't think I found that people are very reserved with like sharing their love for someone else's art. I feel like it's very like supportive, and I find like so most of the time people go out of their way to like tell you, hey, like that's heckin' cool, like stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess I haven't seen like the reserved side of it.
Oh, well, that's, you know what? No, that's, I'm going to take that with me then. Receive.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you about the shift from creating for yourself, your loved ones, and then what it was that took you to that step of selling? Because I think I've been at one of the first marketplaces you participated in,
Yeah.
and maybe actually the last marketplace that happened
Yeah.
before COVID. Actually,
Yeah. That was like a few days, like a couple days. I think it was like less than a week. Yeah. I know, time is so weird. It's so funny.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So tell me about that. What
Yeah.
motivated?
Um, so I think like late high school, like early like college, when I started creating more, I actually started because I was doing placement at the studio. That's what sparked the creativity again for myself because
Yeah.
before it was for school. But when I was making stuff more, it was actually my dad actually said a lot to me, like, you need to start selling your stuff and selling your artwork. So I was like, no, like I'm not good for that. I can't. And a lot of my paintings like non-traditional style. So I was like, nobody would want this. And he was like, no, like actually. So I think he is the one that got me thinking about it more. It started off with like me making like simple, smaller drawings, and because he has a corner store, I was like, here, take them, put it on the shelf, whatever you want to do. I was like, we'll see what happens. So some stuff sold, but it's always been him that has like not pushed me, but encouraged me to like start thinking about selling my artwork because he's like, he told me it's good and like people would want it. So I was, I think I've always wanted to, but I never thought I was like anyone would care or anyone would want it. But that's kind of like where it started. Um, and then I was just looking into like marketplaces. So yeah, it's very low key, I find, for me. Like it's not a business, it's more just I share my work and then I'll see where that takes me. But
Yeah. What can you tell us about the first market you ever did and what it felt like to do that?
I think the first one I did was at the Oshawa Library, and it was like supporting women makers. So that was good because also the table fee was free. So I was like, that's perfect, great. Um, that one, I was so nervous. I don't know why. I was so nervous, but I was very excited to be there. Yeah, it was just fun. I was like, this is great. And like I got a lot of feedback from people like or just like support on my art, so that was great.
Mhm.
I don't think I haven't really done many other than that. I did the one this past March. Also there, I loved it there. Everyone's so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't done many. It's a lot of like selling my work to friends or like putting stuff into my dad's shop. And now like I have been selling stuff online, but I'm trying to like post more because I need to stop neglecting the account. But yeah.
Slow life movement, you know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Well, I think that's the difference too. I know there are a lot of amazing makers out there who are very or becoming or have taught themselves to be very savvy with selling things on social media. So they'll have
Mm-hmm.
Instagram account, for example, that is their shop, and they. But I think what a lot of people may not realize until you try to do something like that, it is so much work.
It's draining. Even like yesterday when I was posting stuff, I was like, I'm tired after this. Like you wouldn't think, but it is kind of draining.
Yeah. So that's just for everyone out there. Whenever you see someone like a local artist or Canadian artist maker like promoting themselves, working that Instagram, it is a full-time job. It is.
Oh, for sure. And I don't know if other makers find this, they probably are also the same, but like when I post my work, especially like yesterday when I posted like I think I posted like 5 like pieces, I'm constantly checking the likes, checking the notifications. I'm like, give me love. Like so it's just a habit now, but it's I guess that is also draining because you're like constantly trying to keep up with like people interacting with you, which I appreciate. I love it, but it is a constant like checking.
Yeah. So so that kind of speaks back to that sense of just the natural anxiety that we all feel when we're sharing our work with the world, that we want it to be liked. We want people,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
if it is for sale, to buy it. How do you deal with that kind of stress? How do you manage that?
I think at first I kind of let myself and I like kind of let myself know like, okay, we're just gonna check it a little bit. But if it's like an hour later and I'm still doing it, I'm like, go do something else, dude. Like go go do something. So I guess just like at first I allow it because if you like kind of suppress that, then it's not fun. You just got to deal with like what you're feeling. But after the fact, I'm like, okay, you've had your time. Like you can come back to this later. The notifications will be there later.
Yeah.
Just kind of like being like, dude, real talk, go do something. But yeah.
And knowing that the people who love your work will be there, they will continue to be there. I think I had to find that even with living room stuff as well, trusting that, you know, the community will be there, your audience, your fans will be there, your friends or family will be there.
Oh, for sure.
You don't
Yeah.
respond right away to,
Yeah. I know it's so exciting too when like people give you love on like your post, but you don't need to reply as soon as it comes in.
yeah,
Like it's still gonna be there. So yeah.
yeah. It's like pacing ourselves, pacing
Oh,
ourselves.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know you've started posting pictures again and sharing everything. If people want to buy something from you, or perhaps even, do you do commissions?
Yeah.
So if people want to
Yeah.
buy commission something from you, how would you recommend them going about it?
Usually the DMs is like the best way. Or like I have an email that's attached to my Instagram. I think you can, there's literally a button that says email and it should take you there. But yeah, my DMs mostly or email. Or I have a Facebook page too, so I get DMs on there also.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking people, after seeing the linings of the pouches, they might want to, you might have to do a to
Oh yeah.
reveal the,
I love those.
yeah. I do find these really handy though. I really do.
Me too. Yeah, I have like I think I've been using like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like I love them. Even my sister yesterday was like, I want one. I was like, just take one. So
Family.
she yeah.
Well, I think what I love about these so much is because, well, about like, let's talk about treating ourselves then, because I think there are artists who've inspired us in what we make and the importance of supporting one another in what we do. Like for me, it is an absolute joy to like snap up something from an artist like yourself because, well, there's a few things. Like one thing is because the time it would take for me to maybe learn how to make it like this is instant joy, and I know it's going back to someone in the community who can really appreciate that money. And again, I have again that piece of I have a bit of you in my life. The personality of the artist comes with it, which I so love. How important do you think it is to support other artists and makers in our circles, in our communities?
I think it's important because like you're supporting someone who's like directly like putting their like a lot of time into something, whereas like commercial stuff or like mass markets or whatever, like you don't know where that money is specifically going, whereas like supporting artists, like something that they made, you know, like that's going to help them, that could help them eat or pay a bill, like it's, you know, directly where it's going. And like it's good too because artists like they also create stuff because they love it. That's I'm pretty sure that's I'm speaking for myself, but I think other people can relate. Like when you start making stuff or like start a business, it's because of your love. So I even just the pure joy like that like an artist feels, like when I feel like someone buys something from me, I just feel love because I'm like, wow, they appreciate or they enjoy something that I like created. And I really do like spend time with everything I make, especially my jewelry. I find like I'm always like, I spent time with this. This is like a part of me. Like, so I guess that's how I feel. Now I'm rambling, but yeah.
Rambling welcomed. I love rambling. Do you have, when it comes to crystals, again, I'm not knowledgeable in what certain crystals mean or represent. Are there certain kind of crystals that you love working with more than others?
So I think there's amethyst that's like my absolute favorite. That was the first one that I actually bought for myself like years. Is it wait, did
You
you
know
hear
what?
me?
My mom called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, should I keep talking? It's loading. Wait, did I think okay, wait, should I
Oh,
go back?
everyone. I have to find my mother.
That's fair. Yeah, I was just saying, the first crystal that I bought was amethyst. So that one is like probably one of my favorites. But that one I know is like really good for strengthening intuition, and that's what I love about it. And it's like really good for strengthening like psychic abilities. So that's your intuition. So that's the one I love the most. But there's so many crystals, and I'm still trying to learn all the properties, but I do love them.
I don't know. Whatever it does, that's great. But that's a purple one, right?
Yes, I have amethyst here.
Show. I like it because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I do. I love like purple's my favorite color also. But you can get some amethyst like this where it's clear. I can't, but it has like
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Can you see it?
Yeah.
There's like a purple, like a very light at the bottom. So amethyst can come like that also.
I think one of the things I love is just that natural, like working with something that's of the earth somehow. That's really, ah, that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And they like there's some people who are like really into like that kind of stuff with crystals, but
yeah.
they're just like beautiful also. Like even if you don't, some people don't like resonate with properties or like believe in the properties,
Yeah.
which is totally okay, but it's just they're beautiful also. That's why I also love them. I have a bunch in my window. I just like looking at them.
I might be one of those people. I'm not sure what to believe. I like
That's all right.
I like
Yeah.
around and it's
That's okay. Yeah, I just like all in all, I just think they're beautiful. So
and you know what? You like I think sometimes when it comes to like beautiful things that are bringing magic into our lives, whether it's, you know, the a real magic or kind of a magic that we give meaning to or a magic that is like I'm someone like me just isn't aware of yet.
mhm.
Why not? I think I'm a
Yeah.
people of whatever works, you know, if it's bringing you joy and it's helping
Oh, for sure.
you, then like that's a nice thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah. And that's why it's okay to treat yourself to beautiful things like that, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So people can message you, they can see something that they like on your page and then just, okay, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like I've gotten a couple of people who have asked me to like if they have a crystal at home that they want wrapped, I can do that also. Like
Oh, nice.
so yeah, just we can chat about it.
Very nice. Okay. And is there a time, like a turnaround time that it takes to do something like that? I'm not even sure how long it takes.
For wrapping crystals, like probably like a couple days just so I like it doesn't take me long. It's just if I'm busy then it's a few days, but
Mhm.
it doesn't take long. And usually I'm really excited so I just get it done. But
Is
I actually did one like recently. I'll show you because I've never done like this before, but it's an alligator tooth.
oh wow. Serious?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a commission for a friend of mine. I can't like I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it. And we can, you know, it gives us a great excuse to go over to your page, look at
Yep. I will be posting this one, so you
yeah.
got to sneak peek.
So that's awesome. So we can bring things to you, you can create with them.
Yeah.
Lovely known too. Is there anything that like you said, the embroidered clothing is something that's new. Is there anything else that you're curious or you're wanting to add into the mix?
I feel like there might have been something. Oh, okay. So there's something new that I just did, but I made I don't know if anyone on this live has seen the movie Coraline, but I made a doll like of my sister in the style of Coraline. So that is something that I'm experimenting with. I might make more, but I post that on my page also. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun and very challenging, but I think I might be doing a little bit more of that also.
That is super exciting. Okay, you know what, and I haven't seen that yet, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it's on my page.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's there.
And I know you do bookmarks and lots of other like paper goods as well that are so lovely.
Mhm.
Just there's so many beautiful, simple things that people can find.
Yeah, I've also been like doing like smaller grade like ink drawings. Like I have one here, but this one is from a while ago. But like I do a lot of this stuff also.
Mm.
Like
So
a lot of like simple stuff.
so I've noticed the themes you've already said like nature and but there's also that um the presence of faces in a lot of the work you do.
Yeah.
Is it always intentional? Because sometimes it'll be, maybe it's just me, I'm wondering. I in your work.
Yeah, so like obviously this stuff is like more intentional. I think this stemmed from when I started drawing like facial features in high school. I was obsessed with it. So I did them all the time. And I kind of like took that and turned it into like the expressionist style that I like.
Mm,
So that usually when I'm doodling, also stuff like this is my go-to. So I've just been experimenting with it, I guess.
that's lovely. Okay, so we're looking forward to seeing some new things perhaps rolling out over the
Yes, for sure.
it's I've always enjoyed seeing, as I've been saying, like the journey of artists from the beginning of, you know, creating things, recognizing that what they're doing and what they're creating has value to that final stage of, okay, I'm ready to share it with the world. And there are so many artists. I was thinking about this recently because when we closed, one of the things that we stopped doing as well was exhibiting artists. And we had so many amazing creators lined up
Yeah.
to showcase in the months ahead at the studio. And um, what would you recommend for people who are perhaps creating, perhaps feeling like they're ready to share their work with the world, but not knowing what the first steps are? What would you recommend to people?
I think I'm still trying to figure that out for myself, but definitely like I really like using my Instagram page because, like I said earlier, it doesn't necessarily have to be like things that I have available for purchase. It's just like my art making process also. So I think just dedicating like a page where you can share what you want to share, like I think that is good. And like interacting with other local artists in your area, I do that often also. So I guess just at first just start something, and then you learn as you go. I guess you learn what works for you and what is might not be working.
What doesn't work for you?
um I don't know, that's a good question. Right now I don't think there's anything specifically that I can think of that's not working, but I think what is helping is like posting more, or just like sharing and interacting with other artists or just other people in your area. But yeah, just if you feel comfortable with sharing the process, I think that is good. I've gotten feedback from people who enjoy seeing the process also.
That's a really interesting area as well because not a lot of artists, well, I don't know. It's a some artists love sharing the process. Others tend to hide it and only reveal the final part.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess it depends on like the person.
What do you get out of sharing process with people?
I think I just get so excited about like the process myself that I'm like, I want other people to see this. And then
Yeah.
I just like interacting with people. Like they'll give me feedback on like what they enjoy about it, or like what they like in the piece so far. It's just like interacting with people about your art. And a lot of the times it turns into like a full on conversation about like different art techniques, or like what like how one person will make something versus the other. Like it's just a lot of like interacting and sharing stuff with each other.
Do you think it takes a certain amount of, maybe courage isn't the right word, but that seems like a very vulnerable thing to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
To because when you're showing your process, you're also showing sometimes it's involving the things that don't work out and the things,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's not where you want it to be, obviously. So
Yeah.
what is it about like how did you come to a place where that was something that was comfortable for you to do?
Um, that's a good question. I don't know if there was ever a time where I didn't want to share like my process. I don't know. I guess like I'm, even when I feel like it's not going to turn out, I'm still like kind of proud of like the slow process I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I've always just been in a place where I'm okay with sharing what I'm working on. Um, but I also think it's can be important for people who are like comfortable with sharing the process, where it might not look so hot in the beginning, because a lot of the times it doesn't. Um, I think like the importance of sharing that is just showing people like you really do like need to just trust the process of creating stuff and just create it based on like, are you enjoying it? Then keep making it, kind of thing. Like sometimes I'll look at my stuff and be like, oh God, this is not going to turn out, but I'm still enjoying making it. So I continue, and then it does turn out. So in the beginning stages, something can look really ugly, but you know, later on, like just keep creating, it'll come together. So I think that's the importance of sharing with people, to like kind of show people like just trust the process and just enjoy making stuff. Like even if it's ugly, like ugly art is great. So, you know, but yeah.
Absolutely. That makes me think of what you were saying at the beginning, and perhaps that's the difference. Like when you view art, making art and sharing art from a place of pleasure and joy, rather,
Mm-hmm.
you know, laying the stress of, you know, this has to be my job, this has to be my income, this is something I'm going to do professionally. Like I feel like that is where maybe that's where that is. Maybe it's yeah, maybe it's harder to well, I'm wondering if yeah, like losing something. Like if again, like if I post something, if I'm a professional artist selling something, making something, if I'm so devoted to this, then the risk becomes greater somehow. Which is interesting because when I look at things like Instagram, and sometimes you see these gorgeous things created by people and so, you know, beautifully laid out. And the living room to a certain extent, like we're not guilty of this because it's not something to be guilty of, but the sense that people like when we become used to doing something a certain way, we can make it look really easy. And a lot of that is not revealing the process. A lot of that is, you know, like if I could show you the rest of what this room looked like, which is a disaster, you know, outside of the beautiful window that you see when we do live streams, like
Yeah.
you'd realize like, oh yeah, okay. So that's what that looks like. Oh, I can
Yeah.
do perhaps, or, you know,
Yeah.
there's something to that. It's, but when you're making it, you know, like the art from your soul, the art of your soul, like you said at the
Yeah.
beginning, like, I don't know, this just, I don't know what, now I'm rambling. I just find it,
No, it's good. It's good.
I think it's so important to stay in touch with that piece.
Yeah.
Why do we make art in the first place?
Yeah. And like you were saying, like about like sharing the process and like how the end result can make it seem like you're just like a wizard and like it's so easy to do. But like I think I had to rewrap this like 4 times when I did this. So it's hard because sometimes the wire will break if you tighten it too much and then you're like, oh shit. So like it's might look like this. You could be like, oh wow, that's so beautifully done. Like you're so like good at what you do, which yes, I think I am, but it's it's not as easy as doing it in like 10 minutes. A lot of people think like it's quick because it's small, but oftentimes the wire breaks or you bend it a certain way and it's like that the whole time. So but
That's a really interesting too. The small things. We have this really interesting relationship with value with things that are bigger, like small things. Well, yeah, the assumptions we make about something like that, like it's small,
mm-hmm.
might have taken a lot of time, but there's so much more that goes in than just
For sure.
that. What's your favorite part of the creative process?
I think there's a few things that I really enjoy. I think just like trusting the process, like it's like it gives me a different things. Oh no.
Did I for a moment? I'm so sorry. You might have you if you it was my mother again. I apologize.
Oh no.
Mom, I love you. I'll call you after. I promise.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
And then yeah, sorry. I was, if anyone could see me, I was literally just yelling at my device.
Oh no.
No, because you went away for a little bit. So,
Oh, it's okay.
so the favorite part of the creative process.
Yes. Well, it's good because I was rambling, so I'll restart. But
I love rambling. That's what these chats are about.
I guess my favorite part is like being able to like experiment with different things because like you can kind of just take the time and try new things. Yeah, I guess it's just nice to try new things and like also give yourself the space to be like, it's okay if this doesn't work, just see what happens. And if it works out, then you came up with a new technique, or if it doesn't, then you know what you don't want to do it again. So I definitely like the experimentation.
So that seems like it's perhaps at the beginning of a process.
Especially like learning new things. Like when I started embroidering, like I definitely had to experiment with like different like stitches, I guess, or like even the texture of different threads. So a lot of experimenting.
I think about that all the time with like envisioning things. Like when I get inspired to do things, that might be my very, very, very favorite part of the creative process. Like right before the thing begins to happen.
Oh yeah.
When
yeah, I do.
You can it's kind of, well, the beautiful place of possibility when everything is possible. And then yeah, the experience for me is not so much fun, but I think that has to do with my personality. That's my stuff I got to deal with.
That's fair. I also like that feeling too when you have an idea and you're like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing. Like I've had so many times where like, especially when I started the embroidering, where I thought of, oh, I should try this, and then it was like, I need to do this right now. Like I literally, the last shirt I made, it was like 9:30 at night, and I was like, I have to go to Walmart. I have to get the shirt. I have to embroider it now. It can't happen tomorrow. It has to happen now. So like, that's very exciting. Also, I find I do like that like part of it, but it can also be frustrating because it's on your mind the whole time, and you're like, I just need to be doing it now. But I find that happens a lot.
That's great when you have supplies around you where you can reach for them right away when you have that impulse. And that's what I relate to what you were saying about the beginning when you were talking like acrylic painting. It can take a long time set up if everything's not already laid out for you.
Yeah.
So it's like having like a little kit of things that are, you know, are available to you at any given time. So if you
Yeah.
create, you can grab it right away, get to work.
Oh, for sure.
With the
You have a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks who are listening, a lot of people who are creative might understand.
Yep. Yeah.
um, with in relation to the embroidery, if people have you or would you be willing to work with repurposed clothing? So if I had a shirt of mine that I wanted you to repurpose through embroidery, or I'd found something at Value Village, for example, or a thrift store, would you be open to working with that as well?
Yep. Yeah. Like,
Love it.
had I already had an extra shirt for myself, that's what I would have done also. It's just I didn't have one, but I would, yeah, I think I'd prefer like repurposing stuff.
Okay, that's good to know. So again, we can commission you to do cool things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, this is so amazing. I'm so excited that you had some time to join us today.
Me too. This was really nice.
Is there like anything else that you're excited about in the upcoming? I know this is like a really odd time because depending on where folks are, I know there are some folks listening who might be in cities where there's, you know, they might be on lockdown. For us out in the Durham region, it's a little bit better right now, but
Mhm.
I think we're heading into an interesting winter where things are going to get a little darker, where we may not be able to reach out and connect as easily with one another as we have been. Um, is there anything that you'd like to share around that and how you plan on taking care of yourself in the months ahead?
Um, yeah, I love that question. Taking care of myself looks like taking every day one day at a time because my mood or like my mental health, it's crazy how it can change so fast. Like one day it could be like I'm like feeling so good, on top of the world, gonna get all this stuff done on my to-do list, and then the next day you're like, okay, like I really want to get this stuff done, but I don't want to move. Like, so it's more like
Yeah.
focusing on every day, and just like something that I'm really into right now is just being easy with yourself. So like it's way easier said than done to be kind to yourself or to like be easy on yourself, but just like taking the time, like if you have a thought where your inner critic is being mean to you about not doing anything today, I like a lot of the times I look at the small things and say like, okay, I showered, like that's a great thing, like stuff like that. So just taking it easy on yourself. That's what it looks like for me. For me, I need to be alone sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I found it really tough when lockdown happened because I live with my family, so I didn't get that alone time. So trying to find alone time, even if it's like going for a drive or a walk, like that's the stuff that I do to take care of myself.
That sounds pretty beautiful. Also, the insight you have for yourself is beautiful. And I'm seeing, I think from Laura,
I know, I'm like trying to read. Oh my God, hi Laura, I miss you.
Laura's going to get back doing some creative stuff herself, and it looks like she
Yeah.
might be calling you for a commission.
That's so sweet. Yes, give me a message. We'll chat. I miss you though. Like just in general, we'll have to chat.
I think that's one of the strangest things that is just not being able to see people as spontaneously or accidentally as we
Yeah.
in the past, to run into one another or to be able to drop by on a whim. So yeah, I really appreciate that you took some time to hang with me this afternoon.
This was so nice. I love doing this.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of love coming your way.
love my heart.
But we're going to keep doing these live streams. And I know sometimes that you hang out and listen as well. So that's a lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts or shout outs you'd like to give to people, maybe artists who inspire you or people that we should check out, other makers or creatives that maybe we should visit their pages to do some holiday shopping?
Think of artists. There's a lot of artists I follow on TikTok, but I can't remember their name, but maybe I'll message it to you and you can like post it, or I'll post it or something like that. But I guess like just keep creating things that make you feel good and like take care of yourself. But yeah. Take it easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's my main thing. Because we're living in some hard times right now. So just like be aware that like it's things that are tough for you right now, it's even more tough because now we're living a pandemic life where it makes it even harder. So just be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself, folks. That's lovely, Kaitlyn. Thank you so.
Yeah. Love.
Lots of Gotcha. And we'll see you again sometime soon.
Oh, for sure. I'm around.
But everyone, do please follow Kaitlyn. Check out what Kaitlyn's making. See if you've got anything you'd like to commission her on. And yeah, because I've got this awesome, like, I don't know if you have any more Teletubby lining.
I might, but I have lots of that fabric still. So,
all right.
Yes, I have a lot of that fabric.
Oh, thank you so much, Kaitlyn. Have a wonderful.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, you too. I'm sending love to everyone.
Lots of love. Okay. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, how lovely. Thank you so much, Kaitlyn, for joining us. Please follow Kaitlyn on Instagram if you'd like to learn more about what she's making, creating, what she might be able to make or create for you. And hopefully we're going to continue focusing and featuring artists that are making and selling stuff, grassroots artists who may be missing out on the marketplaces this year that normally happen. If folks out there have suggestions of people you'd like to see featured, please let us know. And of course, we're going to continue reaching out and connecting with artists and makers that we love and that I love just because I can. Yeah, and that means there's so much exciting stuff coming our way. Now, next week, we're going to be chatting with an artist I've been trying to connect with for a very long time. We finally have an opportunity, so it won't be so much about vending or making. We'll be talking with Sidra Studios, and I'm so excited about that chat. So please tune in next Tuesday at 2 p.m. for that chat. And of course, you can join us on Facebook for our live stream tomorrow, where we'll be having our pop-up virtual art studio. And you can hang out with me and make stuff or not make stuff and just listen and enjoy the community chat. But in the meantime, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for taking care of yourselves. Hang in there, folks. And let's hold on to that lovely message that Kaitlyn gave us about being kind to ourselves as much as we're kind to other people, at least. Be kind, be kind, be kind. And until we can connect and create with one another again, I look forward to connecting and creating with you right here online whenever we have the opportunity. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, folks. We'll see you later. Bye.